flute is also an instrument that I like to use sometimes in my soundscapes. And the flute is pretty simple to use. Most flutes have these 6 holes that you can cover with your fingers. I like to start with every hole covered, and then I start to bring one finger off each hole to make sort of a little song as I blow into the flute. So I'll give you an example. So all the holes are covered. You want to have like a good tight grip where no air is getting out of these holes. And then you just start to blow and start to lift your fingers off of the flute, and you can start to figure out little melodies and songs that you can create. So I'll give you an example here. And there's some subtle little techniques that I use that I've figured out. I'm very self-taught with the flute, by the way. I never took any lessons with flute. The way I play is very intuitive. I'll just show you what I can do. One technique is that I do a little bit of fluttering with my fingers just to open up the air a little bit. So for example, like this. Just sort of tapping the hole like that with one finger. And then maybe skipping a hole and going like to a much higher note. And just those little subtleties, like blowing a little less air in at the end when you're gonna stop. So like this. You might want to blow a little more air into the flute when you're about to finish. And then how I finish usually is something like this. And just have that final note, a little bit more air force through there. So those are just a little bit of techniques that I use that I've figured out when I've been using this flute. So there are many different types of flutes. There's multiple chambered flutes, double chamber, triple chamber flutes. There's some really, really beautiful sounding flutes that you can acquire and use in your sound baths. I highly recommend working with the flute. People seem to really love the flute. When I bring it in, I usually bring the flute in at the end of the sound bath. Anything musical for me, you know, when you start to bring in music, musical scale, sounds, any musicality into your sound bath, I personally like to bring that in at the end after the sound and vibration portion is over, just to, you know, bring some lightness and fill in that dense energy in the room created by the gongs and the bowls. It starts to slowly bring consciousness back into the space. So that's why I like to bring in musical instruments like the flute, the harmonium, chimes, and that sort of thing. Maybe I'll even play the guitar and sing at the very end of my sound bath. It just starts to bring that element of closure to the sound bath experience. That's the point in which I bring something like the flute into the sound bath. And yeah, play around with the flute. It's a beautiful instrument. It's something great to offer in a sound bath.